Alright, what's up everybody? It's Lord Sci-Fi here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're reading Chapter 9 of The Revenge of the Sith novel. I'm sorry it's been so long since the last one. So go ahead. I know since if you have been waiting for this, thank you so much. I appreciate you waiting. And if you haven't, make sure to go watch videos video 1 through um, I have a lot of chapters because I used to read 10 pages and not the whole chapters. Now I'm reading the entire chapter and stuff. I can't wait to finish this book, and because I want to move on to other books. I'm probably just gonna read this book by myself, like on video for you guys, because it seems to be like the most popular one. Then I'm gonna read the other ones by myself. By the way, guys, I'm starting a new podcast and stuff. I'm creating one and everything. I just gotta make one, and then I gotta send it to YouTube and all that stuff. Hopefully, they let me have a podcast on YouTube. And if you don't see it, I'm gonna use my I need to start a new thing. Um, it's probably not gonna be on this channel. I want it to be on this channel, but I can't remember the password that I used for for this for my other account. So probably gonna recreate it on here and figure it out. That way it sends the thing that I want to it. So we're gonna start reading now. We're gonna open this. This one's also obviously called Padme, as you can tell by this. I put this up for every video so you can kind of tell what chapter we're on and what it's called. So we're just gonna read it. We're gonna, start reading. Just trying to find the page I was on, guys. Hold on. I didn't put a bookmark in. Alright. Okay, found the page. Okay. From the shadow of a great pillar stretching up into the reddening afternoon that leaked through the vaulted roof of transparent steel over the atrium of the Senate office building, she watched senators clustering in through the archway from the Chancellor's landing platform. And then she saw the Chancellor himself and C-3PO, and yes, that was R2-D2. And so, he could not be far behind, and only then did she finally find him, among them tall and straight, his hair radiation bleached to golden streaks, and on his lips a lively smile that opened her chest and unlocked her heart. She could breathe again. Through the swirl of HoloNet reporters and the chatter of senators and the gently comforting tones of Palpatine's most polished, reassuringly paternal voice, she did not move, not so much as to lift a hand or turn her head. She was silent and still, only letting herself breathe, feeling the beat of her heart, and she could have stood there forever in the shadows and had her fondest dreams all fulfilled, simply by watching him be alive. But when he moved away from the group, pacing in soft conversation with Bail Organa of Alderaan, and she heard Bail saying something about the end of Count Dooku and the end of the war, and finally an end to Palpatine's police state tactics. Her breath caught again, and she held it, because she knew the next thing she heard would be his voice. "I wish that were so," he said, "but the fighting will continue until General Grievous has spare parts. The Chancellor is very clear on this, and I believe the Senate and the Jedi Council will both agree." And beyond that, there was no hope she could be happier until his eye found her silent, still shadow, and her face straightened, and a new light broke over his golden face, and he said, "Excuse me," to the senator from Alderaan. And a moment later he came to her in the shadows, and they were in each other's arms. Their lips met, and the universe became one last time perfect. This is Padme Amidala. She's an astonishingly accomplished young woman who in her short life has been already the youngest ever elected queen of her planet, a daring partisan guerrilla, and a measured, articulate, and persuasive voice of reason in the Republic Senate, but she is at this moment none of these things. She can still play at them. She pretends to be a senator, and she still wields the moral authority of a former queen. And she is not shy about using her reputation for fierce physical courage to her advantage in political debate. But her inmost reality, the most fundamental, unbreakable core of her being, is something entirely differently. She's Anakin Skywalker's wife. Yet wife is a word too weak to carry the truth of her. Wife is such a small word, such a common word, a word that can come from a downturned mouth with so many petty, unpleasant echoes. For Padme saying, "I am Anakin Skywalker's wife," is saying neither more nor less than, "I am alive." Her life before Anakin belonged to someone else, some lesser being to be pitied, some poor, impoverished spirit who could never suspect how profoundly life should be lived. Her real life began the first time she looked into Anakin Skywalker's eyes and found in there not the uncritical worship of little Annie from Tatooine, but the direct, unashamed, smoldering passion of a powerful Jedi, a young man to be sure, but every centimeter a man whose legend was already growing within the Jedi Order and beyond, a man who knew exactly what he wanted and was honest enough to simply ask for it, a man strong enough to unroll his deepest feelings before her, without fear and without shame, a man who had loved her for a decade, without faithful and patient heart, while he waited for the act of destiny he was sure would someday open her own heart to the fire in his. But though she loves her husband without reservation, love does not blind her to his faults. She is older than he, and wise enough to understand him better than he does himself. He is not a perfect man. He is prideful and moody and quick to anger, but these faults only make her love him the more, for his every flaw is more than balanced by the greatness within him. His capacity for joy and cleansing laughter, his extraordinary generosity of spirit, his passionate devotion not only to her but also in the service of every living being. He is a wild creature who has come gently to her hand, a vine tiger purring against her cheek, every softness of his touch, every kind glance or loving word, in a small miracle itself. How can she not be grateful for such gifts? This is why she will not allow their marriage to become public knowledge. Her husband needs to be a Jedi. Saving people is what he was born for. To take that away from him would cripple every good thing in his troubled heart. Now she holds him in their infinite kiss with both arms tight around his neck, because there is a cold dread in the center of her heart that whispers this kiss is not infinite at all, that it's only a pause in the headlong rush of the universe, and when it ends she will have to face the future, and she's terrified, because while he has been away, everything has changed. Today, in the hallway of the Senate office building, she brings him news of a gift that they have given each other, a gift of joy and of terror. This gift is the edge of a knife that has already cut their past from their future. For these long years they have held each other only in secret, only in moments stolen from the business of the Republic and the war. Their love has been the perfect refugee. A long, quiet afternoon, warm and sunny, sealed away from fear and doubt, from duty and from danger. But now she carries within her a planetary terminator that will end their warm afternoon forever and leave them blind in the oncoming night. She's more now than Anakin Skywalker's wife. She's the mother of Anakin Skywalker's unborn child. That was actually a really good way for them to say that in this book. That's what I like about the author of this book. He does such a good job at building up the moment to say that one line that he needs to say. Okay, let's continue. After an all too brief eternity, the kiss finally ended. She clung to him, just breathing in the presence of him. After so long, murmuring love against his broad, strong chest, while he murmured love into the coils of her softly scented hair. Some time later, she found words again. Anakin, oh my Anakin, I can't believe you're home. They told me. She almost choked on the memory. There were whispers that you'd been killed. I couldn't every day. Never believe stories like that, he whispered. Never. I will always come back to you, Padme. I lived a year for hour you were away. It's been a lifetime. Too. She reached up to the burnt scar on his cheek. You were hurt. Nothing serious, he said with a half smile. Just an unfriendly reminder to keep up with my lightsaber practice. 5 months. 5 months? How could they do that to us? He rested his cheek lightly on the crown of her head. If the Chancellor hadn't been kidnapped, I'd still be out there. It's terrible to say it, but I'm grateful. I'm glad he was kidnapped. It's like it was all arranged just to bring me home again. His arms were so strong and so warm, and his hand touched her hair in the softest caress, as though he was afraid she were as fragile as a dream. And he bent down for another kiss, a new kiss, a kiss that would wipe away every dark dream and all the days and hours and minutes of unbearable dread. But only steps away, the main vault of the atrium will well, still held senators and HoloNet crews and and the knowledge of the price Anakin would pay when their love became known, made her turn her face away, her side, and put her hands on his chest to hold him away. Anakin, not here. It's too risky. No, here, exactly here. He drew her against him again, effortlessly overpowering her half-hearted resistance. I'm tired of the deception, of the sneaking and the lying. We have nothing to be ashamed of. We love each other, and we are married just like trillions of beings across the galaxy. There's something we should. This is something we should shout, not whisper. No, Anakin, not like all those others. They are not Jedi. You can't let our love force you out of the Order. Force me out of the Order? He smiled down at her fondly. Was that a pun? Anakin. He could still make her angry without even trying. Listen to me, we have a duty to the Republic, both of us. But yours is now so much more important. You are the face of the Jedi, Anakin. Even after these years of war, many people still love the Jedi, and it's mostly because they love you. You understand that? They tell the story of you. You're like something out of a bedtime tale. The secret prince, hidden among the peasants, growing up without ever a clue of his special destiny. Except for you, it's all true. Sometimes I think that the only reason the people of the Republic still believe we can win the war is because you're fighting for them. And it always comes back to politics for you. Anakin said. His smile had gone out. I'm barely even home, and you're already trying to talk to me into going back into the war. This isn't about politics, Anakin. It's about you. Something has changed. Hasn't it? Thunder gathered in his voice. I felt it even outside. Something has changed. She lowered her head. Everything has changed. What is it? What? He took her by the shoulders now, his hands hard and irresistibly powerful. There's something else. I could feel it in the voice. There's someone coming between us. Not the way you think, she said. You can listen. Who is it? Who? Stop it, Anakin. Stop. You'll hurt us. His hands sprang open as though she had burned them. He took an unsteady step backward, his face suddenly ashen. Padme, I would never. I'm so sorry. He leaned on the pillar and brought a hand weakly to his eyes. The hero with no fear. What a joke. Padme, I can't lose you. I can't. You're all I live for. Wait, he said, frowning quizzically. Did you say us? She reached for him, and he came to meet her hand. Rising tears burned her eyes, and her lip trembled. Annie, I'm pregnant. She watched him, and as everything the child would mean cycled through his mind, and her heart caught when she saw the first of all the wild, almost explosive joy that dawned over his face, because that meant that whatever he had gone through on the Outer Rim, he was still her Annie. It meant that the war that had scarred his face had not scarred his spirit, and she watched that joy fade as he began to understand that their marriage could not stay hidden much longer, that even the voluminous robes she wore could not conceal a pregnancy forever, that he would be cast out in disgrace from the Jedi Order, that she would be relieved of her post and recalled to Naboo, that the very celebrity that had made him so important to the war would turn against them both, making them the freshest possible meat for an entire galaxy full of scandal mongers. And she watched him decide that he didn't care. That is, he said slowly, that wild spark returning to his eyes. Wonderful. Padme, that's wonderful. How long have you known? She shook her head. What are we going to do? We're going to be happy. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to be together, all three of us. But no, he laid a gentle finger on her lips, smiling down at her. No buts, no worries. You worry too much as it is. I have to, she said, smiling through the tears in her eyes, because you never worry at all. Anakin lurched upright in bed, gasping, staring blindly into alien darkness. How she had screamed for him, how she had begged for him, how her strength had failed on the alien table, how at the last she could only whisper, Anakin, I'm sorry, I love you, thundered inside his head, blinding him to the contours of the night, shrouded room, deafening him to every sound save the turbo hammer of his heart. His hand of flesh found unfamiliar coils of sweat, damp, soaking sheets around his waist. Finally, he remembered where he was. He half turned, and she was with him, lying on her side, her glorious fall of hair fanned across her pillow, eyes closed, half a smile on her precious lips. And when he saw the long, slow rise and fall of her chest with the cycle of her breathing, he turned away and buried his face in in his hands and sobbed. The tears that ran between his fingers then were tears of gratitude. She was alive, and she was with him. In silence so deep he could hear the whirring of the electro drivers in his mechanical hand. He disentangled himself from the sheets and got up. Through the closet, a long curving sweep of stairs led to the veranda that overlooked Padme's private landing deck. Leaning on the night shield rail, Anakin stared out upon the endless nightscape of Coruscant. It was still burning. Coruscant at night had always been an endless galaxy of light shining from trillions of windows and billions of buildings that reached kilometers into the sky, with navigation lights and advertising in the infinite streams of speeders, running lights coursing the rivers of traffic lanes overhead. But tonight, local power outages had swallowed ragged swaths of the city into vast nebulae of darkness, broken only by the malignant red dwarf glares of innumerable fires. Anakin didn't know how long he stood there, staring. The city looked like he felt damaged, broken in battle, stained with darkness. And he'd rather look at the city than think about why he was out here looking at it in the first place. She moved more quietly than the smoky breeze, but he felt her approach. She took a place beside him at the railing and laid her soft human hand along the back of his hard mechanical one, and she simply stood with him, staring silently out across the city that had become her second home, waiting patiently for him to tell her what was wrong, trusting that he would. He could feel her patience and her trust, and he was so grateful for both that tears welled once more. He had to blink out at the burning night and blink again to keep those fresh tears from spilling over onto his cheeks. He put his flesh hand on top of hers and held it gently until he could let himself speak. It was a dream, he said finally. She accepted this with a slow, serious nod. Bad? It was like the ones I used to have. He couldn't look at her. About my mother. Again a nod, but even slower and more serious. And he looked down at her small, slim fingers, and he slipped his between them, clasping their two hands into a knot of prayer. It was about you. Now she turned aside, leaning once more upon the rail, staring out into the night, and in the slowly pulsing rose glow of the distant fires, she was more beautiful than he had ever seen her. All right, she said softly. It was about me. Then she simply waited, still trusting, when Anakin could finally make himself tell her. His voice was raw and hoarse, as though he'd been shouting it all day. It was about you dying. He said, I couldn't stand it. I can't stand it. He couldn't look at her. He looked at the city, at the deck, at the stars. He found no place he could bear to see. All he could do was close his eyes. You're going to die in childbirth. Oh, shit, that was all. She only had a few months left to live. They had only a few months left to love each other. She would never see their child, and all she said was, oh. After a moment, the touch of her hand to his cheek brought his eyes open again, and he found her gazing up at him calmly. And the baby? He shook his head. I don't know. She nodded and pulled away, drifting toward one of the veranda chairs. She lowered herself into it and stared down at her hands clasped together in her lap. He couldn't take it. He couldn't watch her be calm and accepting about her own death. He came to her side and knelt. It won't happen, Padme. I won't let it. I could have saved my mother a day earlier, an hour. He bit down on the rising pain inside him and spoke through clenched teeth. This dream will not become real. She nodded. I didn't think it would. You didn't? This is Coruscant, Annie, not Tatooine. Women don't die in childbirth on Coruscant, not even the Twilighters and the down levels, and I have a top-flight medical droid who assures me I am in perfect health. Your dream must have been some kind of metaphor or something. My dreams are literal, Padme. I wouldn't know a metaphor if it bit me, and I couldn't see the place you were in. You might not even be on Coruscant. She looked away. I have been thinking about going somewhere else, having the baby in secret to protect you, so you could stay in the Order. I don't want to stay in the Order. He took her face between his palms so that she had to look in his eyes, so that she had to see how he meant every word he said. Don't protect me. I don't need it. We have to start thinking right now about how we can protect you, because all I want is for us to be together. And we will be, she said, but there must be more to your dream than death and childbirth. That doesn't make any sense. I know, but I can't begin to guess what it might be. I can't even think about it, Padme. I'll go crazy. What are we going to do? She kissed the palm of his hand of flesh. We're going to do what you told me when I asked you the same question as Anakin. We're going to be happy together. But we can't just wait. I can't. I have to do something. Of course you do, she smiled fondly. That's who you are. That's what being a hero is. What about Obi-Wan? Even. What about him? You told me once that he was as wise as Yoda and as powerful as Mace Windu. Couldn't he help us? No. Anakin's chest clenched like a fist squeezing his heart. I can't. I'd have to tell him. He's your best friend, Annie. He must suspect already. It's one thing to have him suspect. It's something else to shove it in his face. He's still on the council. He'd have to report me and what? Is there something you haven't told me? He turned away. I'm not sure he's on my side. Your side, Anakin? What are you saying? He's on the Jedi Council, Padme. I know my name has come up for mastery. I'm more powerful than any Jedi Master alive, but someone is blocking me. Obi-Wan can tell me who and why, but he doesn't. I'm not sure he even stands up for me with them. I can't believe that. It has nothing to do with believing, he murmured, softly bitter. It's the truth. And there must be some reason, Anakin. He's your best friend. He loves you. Maybe he does. But I don't think he trusts me. His eyes went as bleak as the empty night, and I'm not sure we can trust him. Anakin! She clenched his arm. What would make you say that? None of them trust me, Padme. None of them. You know what I feel when they look at me. Anakin. He turned to her, and everything in him ached. He wanted to cry, and he wanted to rage, and he wanted to make his rage a weapon that would cut himself free forever. Fear, he said. I feel their fear, and for nothing. He could show them something, though. He could show them a reason for their fear. He could show them what he discovered within himself in the general's quarters on Invisible Hand. Something of it must have risen on his face, because he saw a flicker of doubt shadow her eyes just for a second. Just a flash, but still it burned into him like a lightsaber, and he shuddered, and his shudder turned into a shiver that became shaking, and he gathered her to his chest and buried his face in her hair, and the strong, sweet warmth of her cooled him just enough. Padme, he murmured. Oh, Padme, I'm so sorry. Forget I said anything. None of that matters now. I'll be gone from the Order soon, because I will not let you go away to have our baby in some alien place. I will not let you face my dream alone. I will be there for you, Padme, always, no matter what. I know it, Annie, I know. She pulled gently away and looked up at him. Tears sparkled like red gems in the firelight. Red as the synthetic bloodshine of Dooku's lightsaber. He closed his eyes. She said, Come upstairs, Anakin. The night's getting cold. Come up to our bed. All right. He found that he could breathe again, and his shaking head still. He put his arms around her shoulders so that he didn't have to meet her eyes. Just don't say anything to Obi-Wan, alright? Okay, and that is the end of the chapter. I thought that was a very good chapter. That also gave us some more dialogue on how Padme was, like, there for Anakin. Like, in Revenge of the Sith movie, they didn't say all that stuff, which is why I'm glad they do these things. Maybe it was, like, a scene with Padme that was never, like, put in, never filmed, was written, but never was filmed at all, because George Lucas didn't like it, and he decided he wanted to put it in the book. That makes sense. I don't know. But that's the chapter of it. I would like to talk about it for a little bit. Okay, so this chapter is basically about Padme. It gives us more in-depth character about her, more what she's thinking in this. She's also very, like, worried and terrified about what's going to happen to her Anakin and stuff, how he's probably going to get kicked out of the Order if they find out that she's pregnant with Anakin's if she's the mother of Anakin's child. If they find out, she's terrified. She's worried for Anakin. And when Anakin has dreams, she tries to help him, but Anakin pushes her away, like he does, because when Anakin's worried and stuff, he pushes people away. Okay, because but then he tries to say he's going to help her, but, like, I could tell that he's not. I mean, he's only helping himself. He was kind of selfish in a way, because he can't lose her and everything. That seems kind of normal for a kid who grew up with all sorts of attachments, which is why if they taught him how to if the Jedi taught him better, if Obi-Wan taught him since he has attachments, that it's okay to love and stuff and have feelings for one, but you cannot let those feelings take over you. and if he taught him how to use those, Anakin would never turn to the dark side. The Jedi would have stayed. I feel like Obi-Wan would have became Grand Master because he would deserve that rank for training Anakin Skywalker as a chosen one, and he didn't turn. So that's some of my thoughts on this chapter. I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm gonna read another chapter to you guys, and I hope you guys did enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.